Welcome back to Real Estate 101. Today we're going to continue our discussion on financial planning and talk a little bit about retirement and are you ready for it? And I'm pleased to be joined once again by Jeff Gregory of Desjardins Financial. Jeff, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
All right, Jeff, so I want to ask you, when is retirement and is it the same for everyone?
No, I can't say retirement is the same for everyone. There are so many factors that could determine someone's retirement. When is effectively when you think you may be ready. What is your goal? What is your time frame? For some people it's 55, for some people they love working and it's never. I think of some business owners and they just love what they do and they get into their 80s and they don't think of retirement, and there are some people who wish they could do it tomorrow. So I think retirement is an idea, a goal and a concept, and it's formalizing that and putting into writing. When is just doing the numbers backwards to make sure that that date with what people are saving can all happen.
All right, now is there a best way to retire?
Happily, I think, is the best way. There is no exact perfect way. There's no written way for retirement. I think it's more along the lines of taking the time to figure out exactly what you want to do. Retirement can be very traumatic on a lot of people, especially those who are workaholics by nature and they don't know how to retire. And there's some who, when they get to retirement as well, they actually never knew what to do. So a lot of people put too much time in planning their vacation once a year. They don't put enough time in actually figuring out what they're going to do for the next 30 some odd years of their life. And I think when I look back to it, what is the best way is your way, but figure out what it's going to be before you get there.
All right, so let's talk about some ways of where money can come from for when someone retires, because obviously there needs to be money there to retire.
Certainly.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of those ways?
Some of the ways are going to be people putting away in their RSPs. You know, the RSP becomes a bit of an income source, so RIFs. Annuities can be a way that people get money from their investments or their holdings. Pensions, those who have been fortunate enough to have employers that have nice pensions, teachers and so forth always tend to have a bit of a nice pension, but you can't base your whole retirement on that. Even tax-free savings accounts can complement a retirement. Inheritance, downsizing of homes. There's lots of ways where money will come eventually for retirement, but it's also planning out to that point so that you know exactly what you need so that you can be as comfortable as you can be, because there really isn't any more coming in. You're not working anymore. You got to find everything you've been saving to make that happen.
All right. Now, is there anything that people should be worried about when it comes to retirement?
Yeah, you got to make sure there's enough money. One of the problems that we're coming into now, and if you follow the news and so forth, is people are living too long, and pensions primarily are the ones who are taking the biggest beatings. They're just not sustainable enough. Back when pensions came out back in the 40s, 30s, 50s, people were living until their 70s. Now we're living into our 90s. Some people are getting to 100, and getting to age 100 is not as uncommon as it used to be. So now what's happening is we're living too long. Second part that can happen is your health. Sometimes you don't die. Sometimes you just get really sick. The cost of being sick can be much more expensive than the cost of retiring. So there's some of those factors that need to be reviewed and thought about. And I would think the third part as well is making sure you got enough money to live the life you want to live. So there are some things to really worry about and focus about, but if it's planned and thought about early enough, it'll be smooth.
All right, so let's go back to something that you just mentioned, that is getting sick.
Yes.
How does health affect someone's retirement?
It can affect it greatly. I'll pick somebody that has a major illness. I'll pick an MS or something that is, hopefully doesn't happen to any of your viewers or anyone watching this, but MS is an illness that doesn't necessarily take you out of this world quickly. It just drags things out, and then you have to pay for upgrades to the home. You know, you have to put in ramps, you have to try to accommodate as much of a comfortable lifestyle as you can. So if all that money was put away for retirement and then you're spending it to upgrade the home, it takes away a lot of the chunk, and you're living less and less and less.
And now you're adding more stress on top of the fact that you're extremely ill.
Precisely, and all that does is it just becomes a snowball running downhill. So health has a major focus and concerning point, especially as you get into your 80s and 90s, maybe you got to go into retirement homes, maybe you have all those expenses, and it can kind of eat away. And the cost of a retirement home these days is
Through the roof.
It's ridiculous. And if it's anything like myself, I love my parents, but I don't think I want them living with me. So a retirement home is somewhat logical, but that then eats away at their retirement and even my inheritance. So it's not even those who want to retire, it's the kids of parents who are getting there that need to think about this as well.
All right, so in your opinion, is it ever too late to plan for retirement?
No, in fact, there is never, if you haven't planned for retirement now, today is a great day. Today's a great day to talk to someone like myself to go, where do I start? And you don't even need to start with tens of thousands. People are mistaken in the fact that they think they need to put in money that they don't have. There are ways that things can be created. Somebody like myself is here to help people achieve those goals and be realistic with the goals. Everyone would love to retire with $1 million, but believe it or not, for a good retirement, you may not need $1 million. A lot of times retirements, you need even less than that, and the money can stretch very far. So there's never a late time. The late time is tomorrow if you haven't started. Today is a great day to start it.
Okay, so for someone that hasn't, planned for or hasn't started planning for their retirement, should they be worried?
They should start to be a little worried. Now, it depends if you're 25, you buy yourself a little time. If you're 55, then you're starting to get to the point where you need to sit down and talk about it. Even if you're 65 and 70, even if you're in retirement, start planning this out, because we referred to the health part of it. I don't think it matters what age you are. I think it matters at the point of sitting down and thinking about what retirement is, what you want it to be. 35, 55, 75, it does need to be reviewed and written down, I think, more than anything.
All right, Jeff, so for today's final question, what can viewers do to get ready for retirement?
The first thing I'd like people to do is actually sit down and figure out what you want to do. I know that American Idol is on and all those fun, and we kind of get distracted by reality TV, but if you take an hour and just kind of write down, what do you visualize yourself being? Is it on Golden Pond? Is it traveling the world? Is it just being home and being comfortable and downsizing and spending time with the family? All those are fantastic retirements. But if you haven't figured out, and especially with spouses, if a husband and wife, there may be different ideas of retirement is. This is a conversation that needs to be had. And if you're not comfortable with the conversation, this is, meeting, having an appointment with myself, ask these questions. People spend 2 hours planning a vacation every year, and they spend little time thinking about their next 30 years once they stop working. It only takes a little bit of time, and it's just a little bit of thought going into what they want to be, and then I help figure out what the money is.
All right, Jeff, thanks very much for coming on today's show.
Thanks for having me again, Joe. I appreciate it.
So there you have it. People don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. Get in contact with Jeff Gregory from Desjardins Financial. I'm your host, Joe Terceira. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.